Cauchy's constants are actually the constants which come from Cauchy's equation or empirical relation which relate refractive index of a material to the wavelength. So if I am representing refractive index with mu, then Cauchy's equation is given by A plus B by lambda square plus C by lambda to the power 4 and so on. There are many terms here. So this is Cauchy's empirical relation. But as we are going to determine these constants experimentally, so we will be using visible light. So you can see that lambda to the power 4 is going to be a very small quantity, and we can just take a fair assumption of this relation to be simply A plus B by lambda square, where these A and B are called Cauchy's constants. Cauchy's constants. So the objective of the experiment is to determine the value of A and B experimentally. Now, for determination of A and B, one is the wavelength of light, and another quantity that we need is mu, that is the refractive index. Refractive index we are going to measure with the help of spectrometer. We will take a prism and we are going to use a white source of light. What is that source? We will talk about that in a moment. White source of light. So when this white light will hit prism at an angle such that my base is here, then inside the prism, this will break into constituent colors. Now, as you already saw the equation, our mu is proportional to 1 by lambda square according to the equation. So which color will face more bending? So if you are going from violet to red end, you are going towards the increasing order of wavelength. That means mu is decreasing, and less is the mu, less is the bending. So you can say that red will bend the least and your blue end will bend the most. And you will get all these colors out, which you can measure with the help of spectrometer, and hence we can determine its refractive index. So let me make this diagram once again. So this is prism, and now as the light will enter into our prism, here I am only going to consider one ray, then it will enter into the prism such that it will bend towards the base, and then it will come out of the prism from the other end. In order to determine this angle of deviation, what we can do is we just extend, and here in case I forgot, this is the base. So if we want to know angle of incidence, we will draw a normal over here. So this is I. Now I want to know angle of deviation. So angle of deviation, for that we need to extrapolate the incident line. I'm making this dotted because that's not a real one. And then we again extrapolate our outcoming beam here. So this is delta, that is angle of deviation. Then what is angle of minimum deviation that we are supposed to take in this? Here, if I keep on changing I, I'm talking about a particular wavelength. How our delta will vary. For that, you must have seen this graph before, but still, let us just recap. If I plot I versus delta, then as angle of incidence keeps on increasing, in order to increase the angle of incidence, we are going to rotate prism. So if my rotate prism is rotating clockwise, then angle is decreasing. If my prism is rotating anti-clockwise, then my angle of prism or angle of incidence will be increased. If we plot this graph, what we are going to get is this kind of curve, where first with the increase in angle of incidence, first angle of deviation, that is this angle, first it starts to decrease, it touches a minima, and then again it starts to increase with the further increase in angle of incidence. This particular point is called as delta M, which is angle of minimum deviation, and it corresponds to only one value of I. Other than that, for every value of deviation, you will have two values of I. Let's say I take this. Then for this delta, I can have two values for of angle of incidence. You can define angle of minimum deviation as the angle of minimum deviation for which you have a single angle of incidence correspondence. Other than that, for every deviation, you can have two corresponding angle of incidence for the same. Now, when we will perform it using spectrometer, we can make measurement for delta, but for calculating delta, we will also need the incident line. So in order to do this, first you take all the values of delta. This was corresponding to only one color. So every color will give you different color, different angle of deviation. So corresponding to that, you will get unique value of angle of minimum deviation corresponding to each color. And when your angle of incidence is set such that it is set for minimum deviation, your ray inside the prism becomes parallel to base. So that is the shortest distance covered inside the prism as well. Now, after you are done measuring all value of delta, because you are going to do this in using spectrometer, then what will happen here? If I am doing this, this is my prism table. Then I will be rotating my telescope all the time for going to different colors, because my colors will come at a different position. After you are done with the measurement of all these colors, that is the position of deviated ray, then you remove the prism. And then only you can note down the value of incident ray, or what we call undeviated ray. So this will be the position when your prism is removed. So this you will get only with prism removed. And when you remove the prism, you will see only white light. But when you are measuring the deviated ray, this is prism removed will give you position for incident ray, and this T will give you position for delta M when your spectrometer is set for a minimum deviation position. So as all of you know, spectrometer is a device using which you can actually see the constituent wavelengths which are available in that source. So here, the left hand side one that you see is emission spectra for pure mercury. Emission spectra for pure mercury. And the right one that you see is what we see in a lab. So this is emission spectra of mercury vapor lamp. Difference is obvious. Here there is no red color, where there is a red color, and also the colors are very bright. Pure mercury spectra has no red color, but what happens in vapor lamp is, because of the fluorescence of the vapor lamp, you also get red and orange wavelength in it. So there is a difference between pure mercury and mercury vapor lamp spectrum. So what we will be doing in this experiment is, we will be using the source wavelength that are denoted are only for pure mercury. That's why red is absent over there. So now let us have a look at the equations that we are going to make use of. First equation is for, we will start with, so we are going to assume for this experiment A to be 60-degree angle of prism. Now we are going to determine the mu, and for mu we need to measure delta, because greater is the deviation, greater is the mu. So that equation is given by mu equals sine of del m plus a by 2 divided by sine of a by 2. So here if you directly substitute this 60-degree, this sine of 31 by 2, so you can directly take the calculation by 2 into sine of del m plus a by 2. Okay. If you are actually measuring angle of prism yourself, then it might not come exactly 60-degree, then it will come maybe in the range of 59 to 61, so that you can substitute that accordingly. So for every lambda, you will get a different delta m, and hence you will get a different mu. So for determination of this mu, we are going to make a table. Here we will be making two tables for this experiment. So this is first. So I will have my serial number, color. Colors, I have yellow, green, blue, and violet 2. Now we need information about deviated ray. So you know that in spectrometer there are two scales. So you can name them X1, X2. So you will have, for each color, two values you will get. And you are going to subtract this from the direct ray. The direct ray is the ray which is when the prism is removed or in the absence of prism. So again, you will get X1, X2. But even I can write this as this X1, X2 is common for all, because it is for white light, the undeviated one. So you will subtract this from this from this, and what you will get is the delta. So you will get delta for these. Then you just write here this, and this is, remember, this is not simply delta, rather this is delta m. Then our next table will be mu corresponding to lambda. Mu is a plus b by lambda square, and our job is to calculate this a and b. So if we compare this equation with y equal to c plus mx, then I can have, if I'm plotting mu on the y-axis, and x-axis is 1 by lambda square, then my intercept is A and slope is B. So that is what we are going to do. We will be plotting 1 by lambda square versus mu. We have 4 colors, so you will get 4 points. And as you are going in the reducing order of lambda, this 1 by lambda square will increase. And for that, you have to do the linear fit. And you have to get this information of A and B. So my intercept will be A. It is dimensionless because it is mu, and my slope will be B. Our equation was mu equal to sine of A plus del m by 2 by sine of A by 2. So with the knowledge of delta m from table 1, you have to make one more table. My second table is corresponding to, again, serial number, color, lambda, and the corresponding mu. Okay. So again, your colors, yellow, green, blue, violet 2. Lambda is also given. You can calculate 1 by lambda square. Mu you got from the previous table. So now you have to plot this graph and calculate the value of A and B, which are Cauchy's constants.